5G services are expected to cover macro overlays, small cells, machine-to-machine communications, and low-latency applications in industries. Each of these modes has its own unique requirement. Let us take a closer look at the anatomy of the components that comprise the radio access network, or RAN. The radio unit, or RU, as the name suggests, has RF operations and also some low-level baseband PHY functions. It communicates to the distributed unit, or DU, by a frequency domain communication protocol called eCPRI. The DU implements most of the baseband PHY stack functions which are compatible for the various standards 4G, LTE or 5G, and some of the more advanced enhancements such as massive MIMO beamforming. The DU can also implement some of the higher layer stack functions such as MAC, scheduler, and RLC. Where in this network these components are deployed is determined by the aggregation capability and the resource availability, like the front haul throughput and latency. On one end, we can have multiple RUs aggregated into a single DU. On the other hand, we can have a single component G-Node B implementing a small cell. Let us take a look at the physical layer stack operations. The transport block is the payload from the higher layers passed to the PHY from the MAC, and in some cases this interface is defined by the NFAPI. Subsequently, encoding operation is performed, which includes CRC addition, segmenting the transport block into smaller code blocks, encoding them and rate matching them to meet the code rate requirements. These are modulated to complex constellation points like QPSK 16 QAM, 64 QAM or 256 QAM. The complex stream is mapped to different layers, which determines the MIMO capacity of the system. These are then interspersed with DMRS or reference signals to allow the UEs to decode the channel. IFFT and cyclic prefix are then performed and converted to time domain, followed by filtering and upconversion. The PHY stack is split into low PHY and high PHY. The low PHY essentially comprises the time to frequency conversions, and rest of the operations are high PHY. For MU allocations, the entire PHY stack is replicated for each of the users and hence results in very intensive processing. For the case of 100 MHz bandwidth system of sub-6 with subcarrier spacing of 30 kHz and a high modulation coding of 256 QAM with a code rate of 0.93, the TB size for a slot of 0.5 milliseconds is about 1.2 million bits. This is split into code blocks of size 8448 bits, and there may be up to 144 such code blocks. That's a lot of code blocks. These are then mapped to constellations, 160,000 complex points, and are mapped into a grid of 4 layers and 3276 tones and 13 symbols. All of these processing need to happen well within a slot of 0.5 milliseconds. Building different solutions for the physical layer to meet these requirements can be daunting and inefficient. A well-thought and architected solution can provide a converged, ideal baseband solution. Building a physical layer which encompasses all of these requirements for different scenarios can be daunting and quite complex. A well-architected solution is very much required to provide an efficient, ideal baseband implementation. Building an ideal baseband, we need to address the key functions for the stack to run and the underlying platform to support these different deployment modes. On the RU side, we will need to interface to the RFIC. For the massive MIMO systems, there are a large number of antenna connections that need to be interfaced, and there are any number of standardized interfaces available for it. Similarly, for small cells, a reduced number of antennas are supported. An analog interface may also be used, whereby a lot of the baseband digital operation such as upconversion or downconversion and filtering would need to be done in the baseband. The RU also needs to implement a fast Fourier transform as well as cyclic prefix addition and removal. All of these need to be accelerated as these operations happen at a very fast time scale and very periodically. An ORAN compliant front haul would also be needed to communicate to the DU. On the DU, a similar ORAN module would be needed. Subsequent frequency domain operations are done on the DU for the PHY. And here we face a few design choices. To make it hard or to make it soft. What makes sense? Some of the data path in the standards needs specialized acceleration to meet high throughput requirements. Forward error correction (FEC) is one such block, and it is standardized and very specific, and there is not much value for making it flexible. Then there would also be some of the standard defined operations for very specific PHY channels such as DMRS extractions, tone extractions, precoding, layer mapping, and such. So all of these need to be soft because there are many variants within the 5G standard and they depend upon the scenario or deployment. Such as for low mobility scenarios, there may be very few DMRS tones, whereas for high speed scenarios, there may be a lot of DMRS tones. Hence, these baseband components need to be programmable. At the same time, they need to be very intensive operations which need to be implemented optimally to meet the timings within a PHY slot. So how do we make it soft? That is the decision that we have to make. We can use standardized DSPs or SIMD instructions on x86 with the advantage that the tools are available, but the disadvantage of them being that they are not scalable. A RISC-V processor-based architecture with instruction set extensions presents the ideal solution to enable this. The instruction sets or extensions can be implemented for specific baseband functions for which acceleration is needed. Microkernels can be written above them, which form the libraries which can be called from the RISC-V architecture. Apart from this, the PHY scheduler plays a very important role. With simultaneous carriers and also carriers with different subcarrier spacings being normal for deployments, the scheduler needs to control these operations being performed for each of the carrier to meet the symbol and slot timing. And it also needs to interface to the higher layer L2 for specialized slot timings. The layer 2 interface as well is implemented such that it is on a standardized interface. But there can be many extensions such as beamforming and sounding reference signals as well. Taking these different building blocks and connecting them together appropriately with adjoining memories, an ideal baseband can be built. This can help to serve as an RU or a DU or even in the aggregated form a G-Node B. So now we can see that a complex system when designed well is actually quite simple. Until next time, from the edge.